Hello students, today we are going to study about morphology of flowering plants. Under this chapter we are going to study flower and inflorescence. Now let us discuss the term inflorescence. Firstly, the flowers may be produced singly or they may be produced in groups. When they are produced single, that is termed as a solitary flower, and when they are produced in a group, that is termed as an inflorescence. So in indefinite definite in inflorescence, the definite pattern of the reproductive branch is called as a peduncle. A natural group of flowers that are produced on a peduncle, that is termed as an inflorescence. The significance of inflorescence: many flowers, or it makes the flowers conspicuous and attractive and effective for the pollination. The pollination occurs very frequently. Inflorescence occurs successively, and the criteria for identification and classification of flowers is very necessary. There are two types of inflorescence: racemose and cymose. The racemose, in this racemose type, they are indefinite inflorescence because the peduncle shows indefinite growth period, because it has active terminal bud that is never converted into the terminal flower. And the flowers in the racemose type, they are borne laterally in the acropetal succession. The older flowers are present at the base and the younger flowers are present at the tip. So in racemose, here it is shown, the order is termed as centripedal, when the oldest flowers are grown at the base and the younger flowers are grown at the top. The younger one are at the top or in the center. They mature later on. Cymose. The cymose is opposite kind. So in this, the pattern is basipetal, because the apical bud is converted to flower. The flowers are arranged in the basipetal. That means the younger ones at the sides and the older ones at terminal end. So later on, younger one. The order of the flower opening is centrifugal. Example is jasmine. Here it is shown, the older flowers are at the terminal position. The older flowers are at the terminal position, and at the younger one are at the basal point. Now, how will you define a flower? Flower is a highly modified and condensed structure. Actually, it is a modification of a leaf. Modification of a stem. It is a reproductive stem for the sexual reproduction. Parts of a flower. Talking about the parts, the flower, like vegetative shoot, may develop into the axial small leaf called bracket. Such flowers are bracketed flowers, and without bracket, such flowers are with the E-bracketed flowers that are produced on the stalk. The flowers with the stalk is known as pedicellate, stalked flowers. The flowers without stalk is a non-pedicellate. So here we have the bracketed flowers. The flowers having bracket are the small leaf like structures at the base, and E-bracketed flowers are the flowers without a bracket, that is mimosa. Here we have the structure of a typical angiosperm flower, that is a bisexual flower. And in this diagram here, you are able to see the female part of the flower, that is pistil or the carpel, and this is the male part of the flower. This one is the male part of the flower, and this one is the female part of the flower. So in this we have, this is a female part of the flower, and the female part bears stigma, style and ovary. It is divided into three parts: stigma, style and ovary. The stamen is divided into two parts: anther and filament. Now, what are corolla? Corolla are the whorls of petals. Okay, it is a group of petals. Here we have the tentacle or the pedicel. Sepals. The group of sepals is known as a calyx. So this is a general structure of a flower. Now here we have the parts, various poles of a flower. The terminal swollen part of the flower is thalamus. From each thalamus there is a bowl of leaves, and we have the four circle of modified leaves: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Here we have the parts of a flower. The outer four whorls, the calyx and the corolla. Calyx is a greenery part. Corolla is a colored part of the flower, fascinating part. And then androecium and the gynoecium are essential parts that are inside, enclosed inside these calyx and corolla. Calyx is a group of petals. Corolla is group of calyx is a group of sepals. Corolla is a group of petals. Androecium is a group composed of stamen. Gynoecium is a female part of the flower that consists of carpel. Incomplete flower in which these parts are absent, and the complete flower in which all these wholes are present. Male flower in which only male parts are present, they are staminate flower. In which only female parts are present, they are staminate pistillate flowers. Examples are here. Unisexual and bisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers having only one functional sex reproductive organ, and the bisexual in which both male and female reproductive organs are present. That is, example of the bisexual flower is rose or tribulus flower, and the unisexual is castor. The types of plant with the unisexual flower here we have, and monoecious and the dioecious type of plants or the flower. Monoecious in which male and the female are found in the same individual like pinus, and the dioecious, that means male and the female are present on the different organism or the different individuals, that is cannabis. On the basis of symmetry, there are three different type of flowers: actinomorphic, zygomorphic, asymmetric. Actinomorphic flowers, when the flower can be divided into two equal radial halves from any plane. The flower can be divided into two equal halves from any plane through the center, that is termed as actinomorphic flower. Example, mustard. Zygomorphic, when the flower can be divided into two similar halves only from one vertical plane. Example is pea. And asymmetrical flowers which cannot be divided into two halves from any vertical plane. Examples are given here. Actinomorphic flower, the three examples are there. Three flowers are shown, and zygomorphic and the asymmetrical or the irregular type. Now, on the basis of insertion of this gynoecium or the thalamus inside the ovary inside the thalamus, we have the three different kind of flowers. Number one is hypogynous, second one is perigynous, third one is epigynous. The hypogynous type of flower in which the gynoecium occupies the highest position, that means the ovary occupies the highest position, and all other parts, they are present at the lower side, and situated below the ovary. Such an ovary is said to be superior ovary. Example, mustard and China rose. The perigynous flower in which the gynoecium is situated in the center, that is partially immersed, we can say. So such an ovary is said to be half inferior ovary. Example, rose or peach. Epigynous, the margin of the thalamus grows upward and the ovary is completely embedded in the thalamus. Such an ovary is said to be inferior ovary, and all other parts are at the higher position. Example is guava, cucumber. Insertion of flower leaves based on the position of the ovary. Here it is shown. We have this one is your hypogynous type of ovary because the ovary is at the highest position, superior ovary. Perigynous, example is rose. The example of hypogynous flower is mustard. In the example of perigynous flower is rose. And the example of epigynous flower is cucumber, inferior, that is inferior kind of ovary. So here it is completely embedded into the thalamus. So these are the three different type of flowers on the basis of insertion of ovary inside the thalamus, that is hypogynous, in which ovary is superior in position, perigynous, in which ovary is half inferior, and epigynous, in which ovary is totally inferior in position.